Every Jutsu in Naruto, Part 7. Jutsu are the mystical arts a ninja will utilize in battle. To use a technique, the ninja will need to use their chakra. To perform a technique, the ninja will bring out and release the two energies of chakra. By forming hand seals, the ninja is able to manifest the desired technique. Because of the extensive number of hand seals in different combinations, there are thousands of potential techniques to be discovered. Welcome to the Amagi. In today's video, we're going over every Jutsu in Naruto Part 7. Before we begin, we publish a new video every day, so be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. The Amagi's reach stretches beyond just this channel, so if you're a fan of us, please consider subscribing to our other channels and following us on all our social media. Help us reach our goal of passing 100,000 followers on all of our accounts by the end of the year. Before we continue, I want to thank Private Internet Access for sponsoring today's video. Private Internet Access is the world's leading VPN provider, with over 30 million users, and for good reason. Thanks to their no-logs policy, you're guaranteed a secure internet experience and don't need to be afraid of your data being stolen. As it changes your IP address and reroutes your internet traffic through an encrypted tunnel, Private Internet Access hides your online activity from your internet service provider, network administrator, and government censors. If you've watched our videos and became interested in anime but your country's Netflix doesn't have it, Private Internet Access is here to catch you. Private Internet Access works with all major streaming services, so you have unrestricted access to all your favorite content anywhere in the world. Plus, it's one of the few VPNs that fully supports peer-to-peer file sharing and torrenting. And you don't have to worry about any nasty ads, trackers, or other malicious content online. Private Internet Access is available on all platforms, so even if you think your device is not up to date, Private Internet Access will gladly prove you wrong. And to put icing on the cake, signing up for Private Internet Access is risk-free. There's a 30-day money-back guarantee, plus their highly skilled customer support team of experts is available 24/7. Use our link today to have complete digital privacy for only $2.08 per month for 3 years, and 2 months free. It's a steal. Don't miss out and get your Private Internet Access today. With that, back to the video. 8 Branches Technique. This is Orochimaru's greatest and strongest snake-related technique. Using the power of reincarnation possessed by the white snake as an intermediary, he can transform into a giant white serpent with 8 heads and 8 tails. The serpent boasts a giant body, even larger than that of Manda, who is feared as the strongest colossal serpent. Just by crawling on the scales of its abdomen, it was able to trample the Uchiha hideout, and could destroy most things without difficulty. The technique transcends the snake and becomes like a dragon god. When using this technique, Orochimaru can emerge from the mouth of one of the heads and use his sword of Kusanagi to attack, even without a host. 8 Gates. The 8 gates exist in order to limit the flow of chakra within an individual's body. Ordinarily, individuals can use no more than 20% of their body's full potential, the brain's way of protecting the individual from harming their body through overexertion. With training, individuals can learn to remove these limiters, referred to as opening the gates. With each opened gate, individuals are given access to more and more of their body's chakra, thus increasing their physical strength and speed. Ninja able to open the 8 gates have existed since at least the time of Madara Uchiha. Since Madara's era, there have only been a few known users. Might Dai learned to open all 8 gates after 20 years of extensive training. Might Guy, Dai's son, was taught how to open all 8 gates by his father. Rock Lee, Guy's student, was taught how to open some of the 8 gates by Guy. During part 1, he's able to open the first 5 gates. By part 2, he's able to open the 6th gate. By adulthood, Lee has mastered all 8 gates. In the anime, Metal Lee, Rock Lee's son, is shown subconsciously opening the first gate. Kakashi Hatake is seemingly able to open the first gate as seen when he activates it during a cliff climbing practice. Learning to open any of the 8 gates is apparently very difficult, as Kakashi is surprised when he's told that Lee, only 13 years old at the time, can open 5 gates. Kakashi notes that such an accomplishment is impossible through hard work alone. Part of Kakashi's surprise is also because he does not believe it was wise for Guy to teach Lee to open the gates in the first place. Although opening the gates does briefly give the user power greater than what they're normally capable of, this increased power causes the user serious harm. At a minimum, the user will be fatigued, which can leave them vulnerable to attack if this occurs during combat. In more extreme cases, muscles can tear and bones can break from the strain, which can be treated with medical ninjutsu. When opening the 8th and final gate, users will die as a consequence, their bodies being unable to survive the immense amounts of chakra flowing through them. Using the 8 gates is described as a double-edged sword, empowering users users by sacrificing their own health and safety. Such risks have caused the 8 gates to be likened to Kinjutsu. Because of this, Dai developed a self-rule to dictate when it was acceptable to open any of the 8 gates, a rule he passed to Guy, and that Guy subsequently passed on to Lee, to only open the 8 gates when protecting something that is precious enough to give one's life. Often this precious something is a family member, a loved one, or a teammate. Rock Lee has also been known to use the 8 gates to defend his Nindo, the dream by which he leads his life. 8 gates released formation. This is a heightened state that is achieved by opening all 8 gates. The user opens their body's 8th gate by puncturing themselves just above the heart, causing a bloody steam, resembling a flaming red aura, to start emanating from their pores, hair, and eyebrows. Their body will continue to heat up until it's been cooked from the inside out, reducing the user to ash. Opening all the 8 gates inevitably leads to death. While all of the 8 gates are open, the user's heart pumps at maximum power, granting them power 100 times greater than they're usually capable of, far beyond that of the 5 Kage. Might Dai, the Eternal Genin, was able to fight the 7 ninja swordsmen of the mist, and in the anime, kill 4 of them. Might Guy is able to gradually overwhelm Madara Uchiha, the 10 Tails Jinchuriki at the time, earning him comparisons to Hashirama Senju. Elbow. After covering himself in his lightning release chakra mode, A thrusts his elbow at his opponent with extreme force. The technique was strong enough to send Jugo, who was in his full Sage transformation, crashing into a wall, disabling him from fighting any further. Empty Cicada Shell technique. This is a ninjutsu used by Jigomo that allows the user to project their voice from any direction. This is generally used to confuse their opponents about their actual position when talking to them. Empty Crash. By utilizing the partial multi-size technique, the user smashes the ground with their enlarged fist, causing debris to fly from the ground into the air. The user then jumps into the air and swings their enlarged fist into the debris, sending them flying towards their target. Enclosing technique. Using this technique, a wide variety of objects and even living things can be stored within scrolls, and can be released when the scroll is opened or meets a specific condition. It's possible to seal ninjutsu into a scroll, as demonstrated by Kisame Hoshigaki, who placed sharks into his water prison technique that he sealed into a scroll, which would activate and imprison anyone that tried to read the scroll upon opening it. To save chakra, instead of sealing a nature element into a scroll that was created through chakra, one can just use pre-existing nature elements, like water from an ocean, and seal it within the scroll. Though a scroll is the most common use of sealing something, as demonstrated by Ajisai in the anime, this technique can be used to seal things into a small sheet of paper too. Ephemeral. This technique allows Itachi to put his opponent within a genjutsu by using his finger as a medium. This induces the genjutsu. When the technique was used on Naruto Uzumaki, crows flocked from Itachi and turned into shuriken after he performed the Ram Seal, which bombarded Naruto, and then attempted to put him to sleep. When he resisted the sleep command, Naruto then experienced the sensation of his body parts turning into his closest friends, who then tortured him psychologically. This is implied to be an extra stage of the genjutsu caused by Itachi after performing the Ram Seal. The same goes along with his use of shuriken. Evasion technique. Using her dojutsu, Yome is able to easily see attacks coming, allowing her a better chance to dodge or launch a counterattack. Evening Elephant. The Evening Elephant is a high-level forbidden taijutsu that can be performed by those who have opened all 8 gates. This technique is a continuous assault of 5 punches, with each foot, as they are referred to, being performed faster than the one before. It creates a cannon of pressurized air which bears the appearance of an elephant's leg, causing devastating damage to the opponent. The first punch alone was capable of creating a massive and deep tunnel in the ground. The final punch is strong enough to break through Madara Uchiha's chakra shell. The strength of several of these punches was enough to temporarily immobilize Madara Uchiha as the 10 Tails Jinchuriki. Event recording. This is an unnamed ability possessed by Black Zetsu that allows it to record events that it has personally witnessed. When used in conjunction with its signature Mayfly technique, Black Zetsu can gather data from battles without being detected. In order to show these recordings to others, it must first merge with the recipient. Black Zetsu over the centuries claims it was able to record the entire history of Shinobi to later show its creator Kaguya Otsutsuki after her revival. Evil Disturbance Waltz. Clad in Susanoo, Madara hurls his chakra sword at the opponent, swirling like a shuriken. During his battle with Hashirama Senju, Madara had cloaked Kurama in his Susanoo and pierced through the beast's tailed beast balls for a more damaging result. Evil Releasing Method. The Evil Releasing Method is a direct counterpart to the Evil Sealing Method. It's used to release technique and do seals in a person rather than sealing it. Compared to the Evil Sealing Method, the Evil Releasing Method requires far less preparation. Sasuke Uchiha created the technique to revive Orochimaru, mixing a piece of Kabuto Yakashi's modified flesh to create a body for the consciousness of Orochimaru that was left in Anko Mitarashi's Cursed Seal of Heaven. Evil Sealing Method. This technique suppresses the power of a cursed seal. Because applying cursed seals in the first place requires a great deal of skill, suppressing one with this technique also requires a great deal of skill. The preparations needed for this technique are quite arduous. Users write several long lines of symbols in their own blood, which trail from a cursed seal through the surrounding area. Once this is completed and the technique is activated, the symbols converge towards and surround the cursed seal, the blood acting as a chain that prevents the cursed seal from spreading. Applying the evil sealing method is quite painful, and recipients are likely to pass out after receiving it. The evil sealing method can only suppress cursed seals, not remove them. Its power also relies on the will of the recipient. If the recipient wants it to work, then it'll fight off the cursed seal's effects as much as it can. But if the user would rather the cursed seal activated, the evil sealing method will be powerless to prevent it. For this reason, after Kakashi Hatake suppresses Sasuke Uchiha's Cursed Seal of Heaven, Kakashi takes efforts to train Sasuke so he won't be tempted by the Cursed Seal's power, notably teaching him the Chidori. This ends up not being enough for Sasuke as he willingly accepts the Cursed Seal of Heaven's influence. Over the following years, the evil sealing method remains imprinted upon him, but inert since Sasuke has no need for it. When the Cursed Seal is ultimately removed, the evil sealing method is removed as well. In the anime, Kurona Yuhi uses this technique to hold back the Kurama clan's Kekkei Genkai. Execution by Kiss. This ability allows Fuka to absorb all of an opponent's chakra and techniques by kissing them, giving her multiple elemental affinities as well as enforcing the ones she already has and gaining access to all of her victims' elemental techniques. After absorbing her opponent's chakra, she could steal their soul. This technique could also be used to determine what elemental affinities the target has by licking them. Due to one body part being unable to handle so much chakra, Fuka distributes the chakra she absorbed into multiple bodies, and uses color course change to switch to another if needed. When she tried using this against Naruto Uzumaki, however, she began absorbing the chakra of the Nine Tails, but the pure rage and malice in its chakra proved too much for her that she stopped the technique. Expansive Truth-Seeking Ball. The Expansive Truth-Seeking Ball is a Kekkei Mora ninjutsu used by Kaguya Otsutsuki. It is composed of all 5 elemental nature transformations as well as yin-yang release. Kaguya Otsutsuki used the God Tree to absorb chakra from all the people trapped inside the God Nativity of a World of Trees technique to create a maximized truth-seeking ball. A vast, expanding mass of chaos with power to reshape the world by obliterating it to nothing first. Unlike the standard truth-seeking ball, in which a user starts with a set amount of spheres that cannot be regenerated if lost or destroyed, this technique does not have such limitations and can be generated from nothing. Exploding Dragon Strike. Tenten opens one of her scrolls and releases a large flaming dragon that explodes upon contact. Exploding Flame Shot. By creating a spark from their hands, this technique allows the user to throw multiple balls of flames, which are able to either cause fiery explosions on impact or set the target on fire. Exploding Human Technique. This technique was created by Chino after the 4th Shinobi World War, who used information within mineral springs that came into contact with White Zetsu as a reference to structure the technique. When a Ketsuryugan wielder makes direct skin contact with a target, they can infuse some of their chakra into the target. The said chakra becomes poisonous to their target, making their body unstable. Should the target then begin to bleed, the chakra will be set off, causing the victim's body to become consumed in a pitch-black substance before inflating in a grotesque manner and finally exploding on a large and very destructive scale. Only by blocking the chakra flow of the target or rendering them unconscious will it nullify mutation and following explosion. With proper medical aid, the poisonous chakra can be extracted, saving the victim completely. Exploding Insect. The user blinds the enemy with a smoke screen to scatter larvae that, if inhaled, will grow inside their body into a spider-like parasite that explodes, killing the host. The insect's growth depends on how much chakra the host is using, and a massive amount of chakra can speed up the growth process. The insect can, however, be removed by the means of surgery, though it is difficult, as one mistake can cause the insect to explode. The Nokizaru group, notable users of this technique, regularly taunt their victims into attacking after being exposed, thereby accelerating the process. Exploding Sasumata Attack. Gamaken attacks the opponent with his Sasumata, which causes explosions. Explosion Release. Exploding Palm. The user creates a small explosion in their palm. If properly timed and angled, it can be used to send thrown kunai back at the enemy. Gari has also used this to cut the length of binding cloth that Maki used to restrain Pakura. Explosion Release. Landmine Fist. After establishing direct contact with their opponent through a simple punch, the user utilizes Explosion Release to subsequently generate an enormous explosion from the opponent's insides. This explosion is powerful enough to completely obliterate an opponent far larger than the user. Due to the directionality of the blast, the user minimizes any potential repercussions, such as being struck by resultant debris, and even recoil appears to be completely negated. In the anime, Gari is able to use the technique on the ground to create a shockwave of upturned earth and debris to throw the enemy off balance. Explosive Clay. Explosive Clay is the characteristic skill of Deidara, first used during his career as a terrorist bomber and later as a member of Akatsuki. Deidara holds the belief that art is the moment in which something that has form is destroyed. In order to pursue this view, as well as to apply it towards combat, he stole a Kinjutsu passed down in Iwagakure that allows its user to knead chakra into materials. Deidara feeds clay to one of his body's mouths, most commonly the mouth on his left palm, giving them shape and turning them into explosives. The power and type of explosion is determined by the chakra that he applies to the clay. In Akatsuki Hiden, the quality of the clay is also an important consideration, as inferior clays won't take the exact form that Deidara intends, nor will their detonation be as impressive. The white clay used in Ceramic Village for Hanasaki Ceramics is the best clay Deidara has found. The explosives are initially palm-sized, making them easy to prepare in advance and then carry into combat. To make practical use of them, however, it is necessary that Deidara enlarge them. This in turn brings the clay creation to life, which Deidara can remotely control depending on how large it was made. An average-sized bird can be sent flying at an opponent as an attack. A large bird can be used as a form of transportation, and once he reaches his destination, he can send it flying at an opponent as an attack. To detonate the clay, he makes the seal of confrontation and says Katsu. Because Deidara relies on clay to make his explosives, running out of clay severely limits his options in battle. Low chakra reserves also place Deidara at a disadvantage, as his mouths will struggle to shape the clay into usable forms. Deidara's clay is all earth-based, meaning that opponents can defuse the explosives with lightning release. Explosive clay dolls. Deidara releases a glob of explosive clay from both his hands that he forms into deformed human-like figures. Deidara then uses them to fight his opponent in close combat. Their body structure allows them to extend their body parts and not be sliced by normal means. However, a lightning-infused chop or sword will suffice. If a clay figure loses a body part, Deidara can simply attach a clay cord to it and form another clay figure. As the clay figures are made from explosive clay, Deidara can also detonate them at any moment while they're fighting the opponent. Explosive landmines. After creating the C2 dragon, Deidara has the clay dragon spawn numerous clay mines and has his partner bury them underground, thus allowing unsuspecting victims to walk on the mines which then explode. These landmines explode automatically when they're stepped on. As such, they're not under Deidara's control. Extreme decapitating airwaves. This is a stronger version of decapitating airwaves, having greater power, range, and coverage angle. Using a large amount of chakra, Zaku Abumi emits a high-pressured mixture of sound waves and air waves from the holes in the palms of his hands into the area ahead of him. It momentarily blocks visibility as the air and sound quickly travel forwards, carving up the ground and reducing everything in its path to dust. The sheer destructiveness of this technique prevents it from being used in quick succession, as it places a great burden on Zaku's arms. Eye mind reading. Eye mind reading is a technique that allows the user to read another's mind. By subtly weaving signs with their eye, the user can delve into the mind of their target through eye contact without them noticing. This can also be used on a target that is currently reading the user's mind. The user is even able to perform this on themselves to restore or remove information in their own mind. Did you enjoy our video? Be sure to check out these other great videos from the Amagi, and make sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.